Knicks family, what's poppin', which is your boy. Welcome to the shoot around, ladies and gentlemen, as we discuss New York Knicks issues the day after each game. And after last night's game, I'm pretty sure there's not many issues that people want to point out because people are just reveling and they're happy with the win, even though the Knicks had to scrape it out versus the Orlando Magic. It was a good win nonetheless. You know, I got Andy and Joe Madden here in the chat. And, you know, we're going to chop it up about the Knicks. And my first question, before we get to anything else about the Knicks, my first question to you guys is going to be, what are you addressing with the team after last night's scrapey game with low shooting percentages and all of that stuff? Because, you know, last night's game was, you know, for lack of better words, filthy. Right? I mean, there was a lot of fouls, a lot of turnovers, a lot of bodies all over the floor. It was just a filthy team, filthy game. So guys, tell me, how are you addressing this team after last night's win over the Orlando Magic? All right, Andy, I'm gonna start with you, man. Talk to me. How are you addressing the team after last night's win?
What's up? Well, yeah, if I'm Tibbs, first thing, you know, I'm talking all on the shoot around is about the defense. And I'm pointing out that if we play defense, we can get a W in an ugly game. And pointing out loose balls gotta go to us because we're gonna win games with those loose balls. And I would start this almost at every, no matter win or loss, because, you know, as we saw this season, we are really a resilient team. And it's only because of the defense, because we are not great offensively. If we click on offense, it's an easy game for us. You know, we're maybe not going to blow out teams, but the defense definitely is going to be, you know, our, you know, household name. And, you know, teams already probably getting notice that the Knicks, you know, when you're going to go to New York or are they going to come to us, you know, the total score points of ours probably going to get lower because, you know, the Knicks scores are like 80, 90 point games. So that's, you know, distributed to the defense. And I'm pointing it out, no matter win or loss, that this is getting us, you know, a chance, a swinging chance for the playoffs, or at least a better record than this season.
Yeah, and when you look at it, man, the last two games versus the Magic and versus the Boston Celtics, we've won those 50-50 battles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I think against Orlando, we had 5 loose balls. You know, we recovered 5 loose balls. And the Magic recovered 0. Against Boston, we recovered 5, and I think Boston recovered 1 or something like that. You know, so you know, definitely hitting the floor. You know, scraping and scrapping for those loose balls is going to be something that this team needs to make. You know, they've got to make it a habit. You know what I mean? Like they said in the beginning of the season, they got to outwork other teams. You know, especially in a game like yesterday, they got to outwork other teams, and you know that's what they're trying to do. And when you see your leader, you know, if that's what you want to call him, and Julius Randle on the floor scraping, you know, everyone else is going to want to scrape the same way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't remember when it was. Maybe it was in the fourth quarter. There was a loose ball somewhere around. And Julius Randle, you know, you seen him scraping and jumping on the floor. That's when it looked like maybe his leg or something was hurt when somebody tried to help him up. You know, that's what the Knicks got to do. You know, that's what the Knicks got to do. And that's something I would definitely address with them. And the proof is in the pudding, right? Because they won last night and they've been winning. You know, they won the last 2 games off of that kind of gritty type of defense. Joe, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, what I've seen from the Knicks is we've won. This is probably maybe our third win where we haven't played well offensively. So that's showing what this team can win games by playing ugly. And what I can see is kind of like glimpses like the 90s Knicks where it was bulldog defense and ugly basketball. And that's what we're seeing. The team does have needs. Another 3-and-D guy in, or a bona fide shooter, Randall, be able to kick out to. You're going to drop because we are going to need scoring. But overall, I'm happy with what I'm seeing from the team. We have to start off somewhere because last year we had no identity. We were just trash. Now at least we have an identity that we're a hard-nosed defensive team, which people we kind of should guess that when Tibbs was coming in.
Right.
But what I see from the team is hard-nosed defense, and we're gonna win games we're not supposed to win, that we're not supposed to win, and we're gonna lose games we're meant to win. But that's why you play the game, and I think we're not going to get blown out an awful lot. I think there's going to be a lot of close games. There's some games we're going to lose because we don't have the scoring, and there's games we're going to win because of our defense. But overall, a very good start. If you told me we would be 7-8 after the first 15 games, I'd have laughed at you because no one thought what we were doing.
Right. So if you're Thibodeau,
no one expected what we've been doing.
But if you're Thibodeau, what are you saying to the team at the shoot-around today? What are you bringing to their attention as we get on the road and we head to Golden State? Golden State, they won last night. They beat the Lakers. They came back from a deficit and beat the Lakers last night. So they're playing on a high as well. What are you saying to the team?
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to be this morning's shoot-around. They're probably heading out to Golden State, took a plane to Golden State, whatever it is, this morning. And once they get settled into the hotel, then they'll probably have a little shoot-around or something like that. What are you saying to the guys at the shoot-around?
What I'm saying is stay aggressive, ball movement and aggression. Because take open shots. As the Rivers said, it's like, look, you can control playing hard, but you can't control the shots dropping. So just stay aggressive, move the ball a little bit more. And what I like to do, I don't know if it's going to happen because that's not Tibbs' style, but I want him to run a little bit more. Because I see a lot of fast breaks where they slow down. I want him to at least pick up the tempo a little bit more. The ball movement in the first half yesterday was good, but it stopped in the second half. My thing is just stay aggressive because when you're aggressive, some shots might drop. So that's just play our defense, stay aggressive, and keep just good ball movement. And that can win us games.
All right, Evergreen, what about you, man? What are you addressing? Once we get to Golden State, what are you addressing with the team?
I'm addressing the intent to contain Curry by fighting over screens. Somebody said it yesterday. I can't remember who, but fighting over screens. And then more importantly, I feel like our young guys have a tendency to acquiesce to each other, which is a good thing. But when you got a guy that's, 2 arms distance away from you and you get that ball, you got to make a move to score at some point in time. And we have this thing where there's an extra unnecessary pump fake and a pass. It's not real ball movement, but the ball's going back and forth between 2 players that are trying to figure out, should I take this shot or should we give the shot up? At some point in time, one of these players has got to say, all right, I got the ball now and I have space in front of me. And once they have space, either take the shot or make a move to the basket. It's almost like we're allowing guys to close out on us because all of our players know we don't shoot well, with the exception of Kevin Knox, and that guy's letting him fly for the most part as soon as he gets it. But it's just frustrating to see the guys pass up open shots. We're not going to have that opportunity to really pass up these open shots with this team, especially since they run and gun. And we've obviously seen that they have the ability to come back against an elite team in the Lakers. So we got to be real careful with this team. You got to be real careful with Golden State. You know,
Yeah.
I foresee us losing this game unless we get Alec Burke back. But you know, we just got to be real careful about how this team is structured and how we're going to play them, especially if Tibbs is only going to play 9 men. You know, that's going to be I think that's going to be rough on them. I think we need to run 10 deep and allow everybody, especially if we want to play this faster, up-paced game. We're so used to playing 8 guys and playing this slow game that if everybody's got this intent to speed the game up, we're going to have to open up the lineup a little bit more. So I don't know. We'll see how this works out of the Tibbs.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about Alec Brooks a little bit, right? If he comes back, which, you know, they say it's possible he could come back for this Golden State game. We talked about it a little bit last night, but who does he supplant in the lineup? You know, Tibbs normally wants to stay around 10 players. Who's he going to supplant in the lineup? G Fresh, I'm gonna come to you, man. Who do you think, or what do you think happens?
Well, I think as far as Burke, you don't want to bring him, right away. So you might have to keep his minutes down a little bit and just see, feel how he feels as far as being back. Because I think Burke been out for 10 plus games. So you just don't want to run the guy out. Kind of what he did with Obi the first game. Even though he gave Obi 1 minute, now I don't think he would give Burke 1 minute. But you kind of fill out Burke, see what he's at. I think another thing, just some pointers. We had to play Golden State physical, regardless of what you may think they're a running gun team, but they're a physical running gun team. You saw just Pascal last night just bully guys in the paint. So I think one of our keys is just making sure that you don't get bully ball by a team that is known for running gun. I think another thing, I think we should also, this team scores in bunches. I see some Golden State games. They're the type of team where they score 15 in one quarter. The next quarter, they score 40. So tell our team just mentally be prepared for a quarter of scoring barrage from this team. So don't think because you got them down by 20, they'll come in and by the end of the quarter, they up by 15 on you. So just mentally have these guys prepared. Running gun, they're going to bully ball, and they're going to score in bunches. But just as far as Bert, to answer your question, just see where he's at with his, with his legs. And, we have, if you got to play Austin Rivers a little bit more, if you got to play Knox a little bit more, and that's what you do. Until right. Alex is 100%.
Right. Now I think what they've been doing with Burks is they haven't been just putting him in practice. I mean, I'm sorry, they're not just going to throw him out there in the game. I think he's already been working out with the team, trying to get his legs under him. Obviously, that's still not, NBA action. You know what I mean? But, he's probably going to, they're probably not going to put him out there on the floor until they're comfortable that, his legs can handle it, and all of that. You know what I mean? The Knicks, right now, as reports would have it, have, if not number one, close to the number one defense in the league. And I'm about to pull up their defensive rating.
I've been saying that all the last 2 days about our number one defense. It don't seem like we have a number one defense, but statistically it says it. So,
I mean, we're number one in a few categories. Let's put it like that. When you talk about overall defensive rating, I'm not sure. I'm going to pull it up right now and see where we are. I believe as of last night, we were like 4th or 5th when it came to overall defensive rating. Now there's some categories where we're number one. And, so you got some people pointing out those certain categories. Right now, the Knicks are 5th when it comes to defensive rating overall. Right. Is this
So my issue.
Yeah, go ahead, Evergreen.
Now I was gonna say my issue with this determination about the best team. When I want the best defensive team, when I look at that, I say, okay, do we lead the league in steals? Do we lead the league in blocks? Do we lead the league in pass deflections? Because when you say the teams we lead the league in the least amount of 3-point percentage, the least amount of 3 points in the field goal percentage. That could simply be attributed to the shot, right? That doesn't necessarily automatically mean that we are. And again, I'm not saying we have a good defense or a bad defense. I'm just saying there's more information that needs to be put in place for us to make the determination to say that our defense is the best. Our defense is, there's a lot of people saying we got the best defense in the league, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Defensive rating is fifth. I get it. But what are they using to make that determination is my question.
Right. So, like, right now, I'm looking at one thing that says, the opponent's points per game is 102.7. Opponent's field goal percentage is 43.3. Opponent's 3-point percentage is 31.2. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into having the top defense in the league. But I will say this, when you're talking about, consistently keeping somebody's 3-point percentage or a team's 3-point percentage or a team's field goal percentage low, we're 15 games in, right? And it's still a small sample size, but eventually you got to start to look to say, is it because the Knicks hustle so hard? Because even though teams get open shots, if your team is hustling and, your defense just starts to wear guys down, then those open shots become a little bit tougher, right? Or you rush the shot a little bit because these guys are closing out at you hard. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? Or you just feel a little bit more pressure to make this open shot because we're not going to get these open shots, or it's always going to be tough because this team plays so hard. That kind of defense wears the team down and forces them to shoot low percentages. Andy, what do you think on that take?
Just to add, and I might sound, like a Debbie Downer here, but it also goes with the pace. We are a slow-paced team, so there's less possessions to score versus us. And I know, this is maybe a BS thing, but I think it's a real thing, because if you have 120 possessions a game, you got 20 possessions more than average almost, right? So that probably goes also into account. But I also agree that the rotations and the defense is totally different than the last season, and the 15 game sample. Well, it's not that that small anymore. 5, 6, 7 games maybe, okay. But 15 games is not that small. It's not a quarter of a season yet, but it's getting closer and closer. I talk with my friends that we have an NBA chat here in Poland, and I told them, so what were their expectations of the Knicks? And they're saying we're still going to be top 3 lottery pick, right? And I'm like, well, we'll see about that. It's 15 games, not like 5 games in the season. And they're like, okay, I'm giving them like a week. The other guy said like 2 weeks. And it's going to be a hard crash for the Knicks fans. And I said, I'm going to wait for that. I'm guessing it's not going to be that. If we are going to be playing this kind of defense the whole season, we're going to, break that Vegas, bet of the 22.5 wins for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the Knicks, it's a little bit early, but if you give it, say, if they continue what they're doing on this pace for 20 more games, then you could say, okay, it's legit. And then we're out of the lottery. Being in the lottery this year ain't a bad thing, but I don't think we're going to be there. I think we'll have to trade up if we're getting a high lottery pick, because I really do think that the worst scenario is we're going to be competing for that 10th spot for the play-in tournament.
Yeah, but also, Joe, just to mention, we hold some good teams. To low scoring games. Milwaukee, Boston, and Boston didn't have Tatum, but Milwaukee were probably full strength versus us.
Yeah. And Boston were on a 3-game winning streak without Tatum. They
Right.
were
Yeah.
hot when we beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said before, we're gonna win games that we shouldn't win and lose games that we shouldn't lose. But that's for every NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
for every NBA team.
why you play the games. And I think we are going to be competitive. We're going to lose games and we're going to win games. And I think sitting in around that 500 spot is a big realistic. And I was saying to Sim before, I was like, last year the Magic played 73 games and they won 36 games and got the 8th seed. That was just one more game than what this season is. This is a 72-game season. So if we can win 34, 33, 34, 35 games in around that spot, then we're a legit chance of getting the 8th seed. But I think the lowest expectations we have should be on the Knicks, should be getting into that play-in tournament. But I think we can get the 8th spot. If it just has to be consistent, because we've seen our nights they're balling and then other nights they disappoint. So the thing about getting into the system now is just consistency. I think we know what this team can do. That's not the problem. It's just, can they do it consistently?
Right. At what point? Well, 15 games in, a lot of people, want to wait and look at 20 games. But at what point do you start to say, yeah, this team really can do it? When does it stop becoming? Because early in the season it was just like, they got hot for a couple of games. When does it stop becoming they got hot for a couple of games and that, okay, they really are a team that is maybe ahead of schedule? When does it become that? Or
20 more, I think. You give me 20 more games of what we've been doing, sitting around 500. That 20 more games is like, okay, this is legit. And that's when I try looking in, as you mentioned before, Sim, about looking at a Zach LaVine or someone to come in just to help us go over the top a little bit to guarantee that we can be a 7, 6, 7 seed. But 20 games, because we've gone into 5-game winning streak, then we got into 5-game losing streak, and now we're back on a 2-game winning streak. We're going to see that all year. But I just want to see just consistent basketball. If they can play doing what they're doing for 20 more games, then I know, okay, we're making a run for the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Evergreen, what about you, man? When do you look at it and start to say this is for real or not?
I mean, I guess it only matters if Stephen A. Smith says it, right? No, I want to say when we've played every team in the league at least once, and that team that we're playing has their elite players healthy, because we get to see, what those coaches are doing against us when we're healthy or whatever the case is. I want to see exactly, what schemes each team is playing, just so that the players on our team can grow and they can build up their confidence. We Quickly hasn't played against an elite point guard yet. We played against an elite center. We played against an elite power forward. We haven't played against an elite, we haven't played against an elite point guard yet, elite shooting guard yet, an elite small forward yet. So once we get to those points where we say, hey, we've battled the Steph Currys, we've battled the Damian Lillards, we've battled Bradley Beal, we've battled each one of these particular, superstars, if you will, and you can get the young guys to get all their jitters out, and then we're still playing consistently there. Games are close, or we're winning games, or whatever the case is. At that point in time, I'll say, okay, this team is the real deal. I'm right there. I want to say I'm on the we believe factor, but again, just like everybody jumped out the window for Quickly, and he had those 3 bad games right after that, we haven't played against an elite guard yet. We haven't played against an elite point guard yet. We played against the power forward and
Trey Young.
I mean, he's an elite point.
That's subjective. That's subjective, right? Because I'm saying it's subjective. I get it, Trey Young, but we already know what we have to do against that team, right? I'm saying, and he hasn't been consistently an elite point guard, I don't think, right? He's just a guy that scores a lot. Like, what else is he? What other threats does he have? You know, when
He's
you talk about
passing a
Damian
little bit.
Lillard, when you talk about Damian Lillard, he facilitates the ball well. We got him coming up. You talk about Steph Curry, he facilitates the ball well. He's the greatest shooter in NBA history. We got him coming up in 2 days, right? We haven't played against Westbrook yet. We have, you know, like, it's just so many guards that we need to expose ourselves to first before, you know, and the same thing at the shooting guard position yet, right? We had an opportunity 3 days ago to play against Jason Tatum, but he was out, right? What other shooting guards have we played against that are like, okay, this dude's a problem when we have to prepare for him specifically?
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell, yeah.
Evergreen.
Okay, fair enough.
Evergreen, let me just add to the thing you're saying. Basically, for me, most of the NBA teams have better guards than us, at least the point guard. So basically, every night they're playing versus a better point guard, because Elfrid's an all-starter, and it's not like I like him, love him, or whatever, but he basically has to fight. Every point guard probably is better than him in the league. Maybe like you can get an off night when someone's injured or out. So you can find like 5 names probably around the league.
Yeah.
So basically they have every game they're playing with a better competition.
Yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 point guards that are probably worse than Elfrid Payton that's starting. Everybody else is better.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've played against some talented players. I mean, we've played against some of the best teams in the league so far. And
we beat some of them too. And we beat 2 of the top teams in the East, and we beat them by combined 50 points. We beat Milwaukee by 20. We beat Boston by 30. That ain't easy.
Yeah, and then also Jaylen Brown's playing at an all-star level. Like he's at 5. I think he's like almost like 50% from the field, shooting almost like 40.
Yeah, he has a great season. Jaylen Brown is on fire.
Really good season. He could have easily came in and scored 35 on us, and we could have lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect for the Knicks to blow out Milwaukee by 30 again, or Boston by 30 again. But they've played against some good talent so far. And now let's say this, you say that they haven't played against any elite point guards. Well, they're getting ready to play against Steph Curry. They're getting ready to play against De'Aaron Fox, and they're getting ready to play against Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I guess this would be a good test to see where they are playing against those guards. But look, when they played Donovan Mitchell, against Donovan Mitchell didn't have a great game against the Knicks.
No.
Trae Young, he did what he did, but the Knicks were able to come out with a victory, and Emmanuel quickly had a big play to take the ball from him in that fourth quarter to kind of, seal a victory for the Knicks. You know what I mean?
See, what kind of scares me, Sim, though, is like we beat Milwaukee, we beat the Celtics, we beat playoff teams, and they might underestimate us. I think second time around they're going to be prepared. They're going to be like, all right, the Knicks aren't that joke anymore. The Knicks are for real. So teams are going to start more preparing and being focused. Because before, teams are like, oh, it's the Knicks, we'll beat them easy. Now it's like, all right, we got to go out and we got to play at our best to get by this team.
Right.
And that's what might happen throughout the games coming up, where teams will be like, all right, we need a game plan. We need a look, because the Knicks aren't a pushover no more.
Right. So what teams have we played twice already? We've played Indiana twice.
Pacers, Cleveland.
We played Cleveland twice, right? So the second time we played Indiana, we beat them the second time we played them. Then we lost to Cleveland the second time we played them, right? Because I take a lot in playing teams twice, because, if you beat them the first time, the team has a chance to adjust, to the things that you do. You have a chance to adjust to the things that they do. So to me, I hold a lot of stock in playing a team twice and figuring out where you are.
Yeah. Because Cleveland adjusted against us. Like, that's a game we should have won. That's what makes me. Yeah.
And I was going to say, in regards to Cleveland, while we did have a horrible loss to them, I mean, the first game we pretty much played against their G League team, right? We didn't. They were pretty bad that very first game, or was that a preseason game we played?
No, actually, when we played them the first game, they had Colin Sexton, they had Darius Garland, they had Andre Drummond, they had their team there.
Mm-hmm. The second game, they were missing their guards.
I think it was who was out? What's the name was out that first game?
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love was out that first game.
The second game, he also was out.
It doesn't matter. They had their guys in the starting
lineup. And then Mark Sky Okoro was out that first game too, but he was back the second game.
But
and he gave RJ a little bit of trouble defensively.
That's good.
But the other thing I think as Knicks fans, we're not giving credit. We also are hurt too. We're not completely healthy, so we can't say.
Yeah.
About this team didn't have this guy and this guy was hurt. We're not fully healthy, so we got to give ourselves some credit.
Yeah,
put too hard on ourselves on that.
Well, we're nearly
but then
healthy
again,
now. It's just Burks to come back.
Hold one at a time. One at a time.
Then again, when you're talking about a brand new team, there's so much unpredictable things with this team that you cannot just come on and I trust this and I trust that and I trust these players when they go against certain players to dominate their players. This team is still very unpredictable. It's from a night-to-night basis how we judge this team, because this is a brand new team put together once again with a new coach, with a new staff. So that's why it's like, even with the 20 game, for me to take this team to say like this team is for real, I have to see how this whole season works. You would just have to, because this is a team that don't have a record of showing me every year that this team is for real. You only judge teams that are for real, that does this from season to season, every night out. We have to still prove that.
Well, we're talking about this season. We're talking about this season in a nutshell. This season in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they still have to prove themselves.
I think any team season to season, you can't predict exactly what they're going to be. You can hold up. Let me finish. You can go on. You can base things on what they've done in the past, but you never know when the team is going to come out and all of a sudden they don't look the same. Look at Miami right now.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But that don't mean,
I know what it means about the Knicks. All I'm saying is, every year is a new year. You take away a player, you add a player, it changes the entire chemistry of your team. Every single year it happens.
You just can't judge this team amongst other teams. Other teams have reputations. So we have to go on reputations.
Yeah, but Mark, the thing is, our reputation was bad ownership, bad front office, bad coaching. Now we have Dolan's keeping quiet, Leon Rose is running the show, and we have a coach with a history of developing, and we're already seeing that development. We see Knox slowly coming along. We see Mitch is not Mitch's ball, and he ain't getting in foul trouble. Randall took his game to a new level. RJ is playing well. So it's kind of like, okay, we have to judge this season because we have better coaching, so we know what this team can do, but can't do it consistently.
So this what it is. I want to see if these players can sustain what they're doing. If they could sustain it, then I could say, yeah, this team is for real. But I have to see. I have to continue to see the season play out.
Yeah. That's why I said 20 games.
But to kind of add on, like you're saying, Mark, on reputation, sometimes, like right now the reputation for Miami is that they just play good on the bubble. You know what I'm saying? So
bro, they've been a consistent team for a very long time, bro. Don't tell me that.
Years where they make the 8 seed, they don't make the playoffs. 8 seed, 7 seed, don't make the playoffs.
So you're telling me Miami don't? You're telling me the Knicks have a better reputation than Miami?
No, I'm not saying.
Would you rather Miami's reputation to say I can trust my team?
No, what I'm saying, what Tim is saying, each year is different. So you can't always look at, this year, you're going to expect that Miami's going to be this way. Go look at Miami's track record.
But I trust what Miami does more than what I trust my own team, because they haven't proven that to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that's where I'm coming from.
But at the end of the day, it's still a new season. And people are saying about Miami is that, are they for real? Because they got hot in the bubble. Because if you really look at them before the bubble, they were playing okay. And then they come to the bubble, they playing hot. There's a lot of teams that were playing hot in the bubble, and they kind of just like, So every season's different.
Yeah, let me come to Prince. Prince, what's going on with you, man? I'm glad to see you made it in. I give you the last word on it. Are the Knicks ahead of schedule? Are you waiting around to see, what they do? Are you confident that these guys, 15 games, is it enough of a sample size for you to say, yeah, these guys are serious, or are you waiting?
Sim, like one thing we said, man, we knew that Tom Thibodeau wasn't playing no games in the beginning of the season. So with that being said, I just knew that it was going to take a little bit of time for our team to gel, for us to understand the philosophy offensively and defensively that Tom wanted us to play. But a good coach, he did all of that for us. He put the groundwork for a great defense first day. So again, that was dope to have the boys in shape. That's awesome. And like we've been saying, and I heard Ron Cleveland say this earlier on Blue Orange Tears, like, just wait until we start clicking offensively. I still don't believe Tom Thibodeau is calling plays. I believe he's calling sets, and there's, certain things that he want to see. But I have not seen an actual play where he like, I'm going to call Wildcat for Julius. And you know what I'm saying? You get a bucket, you see a pick, backdoor cut, boot, Julius get a bucket. We're not even seeing that. We're just seeing good basketball being played, and they're playing in the constructs of his offense. So like I said, and once he really starts to put the offense together, like this team, you think that we a number one defense now. Just imagine what we can be once we get healthy. And this offense starts to click. And that's the only thing we really missing. Defensively, we really starting to understand the rotation. Like we talked, Sim, in our last little shoot around, I noticed that RJ wasn't diagonal. He was flat. So somebody talked to him about those things and help side defense about being flat, seeing your man and the ball. So to answer your question, Sim, definitely I don't need another 15. Now, if you're talking about coaching, or you talking about our roster as it sits? Because I still got my verdict still out on the roster. I would love for us to upgrade that. But as far as the team and where Tom Thibodeau has us going, we definitely on the upward up.
Okay. We're definitely on on the way up. Let's talk about RJ. You mentioned RJ, and when we were looking at his defensive footwork and those type of things. Over the last 4 games, man, RJ, he's been doing his thing. Last 4 games, 20 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3.2 assists. He's shooting like, 45% from the field. He's shooting like 33% from the three-point line. He's playing good basketball. It seems to be finding his spots. And this is what Tibbs had to say on RJ. Then I want to come back to you guys, find out, there's going to be more ups and downs with RJ, right? He's going to, he's going to have nights where, he plays like a sophomore. He is a sophomore. All right. I know, people want to say he hasn't played 82 games. He had an entire offseason, folks. He's a sophomore. Right. But this is Tibbs on RJ.
His attitude's been great. I think he's in a really good place. And, at the beginning of the season, people were talking about his shooting, but he was doing so many other things well for us. He was rebounding the ball well. He was making very good rim reads, and he was high assist on most nights. And then I knew that I really believe the shooting will come around. He's put a lot of extra time into it. He's in a good rhythm now. He has real good balance. So I think the sky's the limit. I think he's learning, as most young players do, but he can score a bunch of different ways, and having the ability to put it on the floor, catch and shoot, play pick and roll, post up, run the floor. And if when he moves without the ball, that's what makes him really, really tough to guard, I think.
So do you think that RJ is there? I don't want to say that he's taking the next step already, but how close is he to really taking that next step, to where, what we see right now is the consistent RJ. Like the RJ, is consistent. Prince, I'll start with you.
See his jump shot fall consistently, then I can start to say that he's turned the corner as far as with his jump shot. Now, his all-around play, pound for pound, I believe RJ can get a little bit better with making everybody else around him better. And that means sometimes, passing up his shot and not always saying like, okay, well, I don't have somebody's closing out on me. I got to pass it up. But, just when you driving, don't drive with the intention to always just attack the basket. Drive with your head up so that you can see if somebody cuts or you see if Kevin flashes, you can give him the ball. So those are the things that when I see RJ doing that, that's when I can say, okay, RJ has grown up. He's started to do the things that we really want him to do. Like him scoring 20 points a night, we knew RJ could do that. That's not nothing that, it's not to say that that's a slight, but again, we know RJ can score the ball. We just want to see, is he going to be able to do it consistently? Is he going to make everybody else around him better while scoring the ball? So, yes, I'm definitely believing Tom Thibodeau isn't selling us, a janky Pinto. But again, I believe he believes what he's saying, that RJ, he keeps working, he's going to get better. So again, I guess, we'll see exactly who RJ is in the next 50, 60 games. But again, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think, one of the big keys, and I've mentioned it a bunch of times on post-game shows and whatever, that, he's finding a way to get to his spots. I don't know if somebody worked with him to say, hey, these are some spots that we noticed that you shoot well from. Right? Those are the type of things that you do in a shoot around, right? You sit down and you say, we notice, you shoot this percentage from the short corner. You shoot this percentage from the elbow. Find these spots and get to them. I think that's what he's done successfully. I'm going to come to G-Fresh, then I'm going to come to Evergreen. G-Fresh, what do you think, man?
This stretch, I've been seeing RJ, when he attacks the basket, he's attacking with control. Usually when he goes in, he's just trying to muscle his way in. You see a little bit more extra footwork when he's driving to the basket. And I think when me and Prince, one show we was talking about, he needed to work on his footwork. And part of that was not just off the ball dribble, but just driving to the basket. So I think as long as he just continues to do the little things, work on his footwork, I think if he, once again, continue to select his spots, I would love to see him play make a little bit more. He's rebounding the ball very well. I think almost like 7.8, I think, a game, close to that. So, but the playmaking, you will want to see him kind of drive to the basket and kick out a little bit, because then that's going to make his game a little bit more easier, because teams know if he's driving, they know that, he's going to score. But if he's kicking out to find other people to score, that's going to make the game come easier for him. So I like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah. Evergreen?
All right. So when most people talk about a player being consistent, what they're really talking about is whether his shots are falling consistently or not, right?
Right.
In reality, you got to remember, RJ Barrett was top 5 rookies in every major category last season except for blocks. He was top 5 in points, top 5 in steals, top 5 in assists, right? In every major category. And he's still doing all of those other things well except for his scoring, right? So when you listen to what Tibbs is saying about him, being consistent, doing all those other things well, he's speaking just to that. The guy just had, what did he do, 19 and 10 the other night? He him to be right now, right? I want him to work on his shooting. And that's something that I don't have any expectations on it being elite or top 10 or any of that. He's already consistent enough in my book and all of the other facets of the game, with the exception of scoring. We're seeing what he can do as far as scoring with Duke, but those aspects of his game translate to exactly how consistent it was when he was at Duke. When he was at Duke with him and Zion, he was still the lead guy getting all the buckets, but he had a lot of games where he looked rough. Same thing last season for us, and same thing this season for us now, right? So all I'm saying is he's consistent and he's great. He's exactly where I want him to be in every other aspect. We just want him to start knocking down some shots and being a little bit more concentrated in his scoring. That's it. But issues with RJ. He's going to have scoring slumps. But scoring slumps doesn't mean he's going to have bad defensive sets.
Right, right. And I think that's the big key, that he's able to, do other things on the floor, even when he's not scoring well, even when he's frustrated about, maybe he made this play or that play, shouldn't have made these certain plays. He stays focused and stays there and does other things out there on the court. All right, that's always going to be a big positive for him. Again, I just think that, the fact that he's finding certain spots on the floor is really helping him to score more consistently, because he's not, he's getting to areas that where he shoots a higher percentage. You know what I mean? And I think that's always going to benefit his game all the way around. Mark, you want to jump in on this here?
Well, like I said, with this dude, he's a basketball player. He plays the game the right way. I just like when he plays the game the right way. He's not selfish. He wants the team to win. I like his attitude. To me, I just think the kid is going to be an NBA stud. I don't think he's going to be a superstar or all-star, depending on if we get shooters for this kid. The only way his game's going to expand is due to the shooters that he can play with to open up his game more. Knicks don't have consistent shooters at this point. So for what he does right now, I want him to take less threes, play more of an inside-out game, because that's helping him right now, because that's what he's doing right now. I don't want him taking 6 threes a game because everybody's so fond of him taking more than 4 threes a game. I think he could still be effective playing the way how he's playing right now. Smart. His IQ is there. He never wavers through a game. Even if he has a bad game, he's doing other things. He's rebounding, and he's playing defense. The kid is just doing what you want a second-year player to do. Not every second-year player comes out gangbusters. So he's playing at his pace, and I like it.
But see, here's my thing with the 3-point shots, though, because what I see from RJ is that he doesn't just come up the floor and shoot a 3-point shot off the dribble. He barely even shoots a 3-point shot off of a screen. When he shoots it's because somebody penetrated, kicked it to him, and he's wide open.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying.
Do we not want him to take that shot?
No, sometimes you want him, but sometimes if he feels like he can get a higher percent shot, that's for him, that he needs to go do that. For him, knowing that he's not a great shooter right now, if he feels like I would rather a player go get a high value shot to his skill set before he take a shot that has very low chances of going in.
But here's my thing.
That's just me.
Here's my thing. And over this stretch, he has shot 33%. I mean, obviously that's not, super high, but it's better than what he's been shooting. I mean, RJ I have to look at the attempts over these last 3 games, these last 4 games, but he usually takes around 3 or 4 attempts per game, right? But here's the thing that I see is RJ gets the ball and he's wide open at 3, right? So whoever penetrated and kicked it out to him. If he takes one dribble and steps in, that's a worse shot because the percentages are almost the same, but it's a 2. It's a long 2. So that's even a worse shot, right? Now, he may not get all the way to the cup because by the time he takes that one dribble and a step, somebody's closed out to him.
And that's where he could pass. The dude can pass, so he can get a higher percent shot for someone else. So just the way he plays.
But see. Then here we go with different scenarios. Like Evergreen was just saying earlier, right? We have a lot of guys who are getting wide open shots, and because they're playing trying to play an altruistic brand of basketball, they're passing up those shots. Tom Thibodeau himself has said, "Shoot the ball when you're open." I don't think Tom Thibodeau has a problem with him shooting the threes that he's making, even though he's not making them. Right? I think it's like, shoot it. If you're open, you get it, and it's a good shot, shoot it. That's the philosophy that I take.
I want to know the percentages of the slump compared to what he's doing now. And that would just tell you the difference in between what he's doing now, what's working for him now, compared to what's working for him. Because most of the times when he's shooting, he looked like he was pressing. That's the thing with him.
Right.
I'm pressing a lot.
I'm just talking about the three-point shooting. I don't feel like he shoots bad three-point shots.
No, he doesn't. But I like a guy that knows himself and get to his butter. Just get to his butter, because that's going to help him evolve. He's only in his second year, so he's in no rush. I'd rather him refine what he does best and let the other attributes come on later on. Let him do what he's doing. What he's doing in the last 4 games, that's what I like to see. That's what I like, because that's his game right there. That's how he played in Duke, and that's how he played with Zion. That's how he played. I like that. That's what I want to look for. And that's what they realized. That's what Tibbs realized. Get that man closer to the basket and let him do what he do.
Okay. I think last night, I think he was 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 from the three-point line last night. I mean, he's still taking his number of threes.
No, and that's okay.
He's just not making them.
Yeah, that's okay. But just don't, when I see 6, 7 threes from him, personally I don't want him to do that, because I want him more close to the paint where he's better at, where you get high percentage shot.
I get
that's
it.
why I like.
I get it.
So
I think each game has its own context, though. Because some teams play a little bit more zone.
If he's open, he shoots it.
Right, and some teams play a little. Some teams play a little bit more zone, so it forces them to have to shoot from the outside. So I think each game has its own little context there. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Yeah.
What's going on, Simmons AK?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you feeling, man? Glad to hear from you.
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Feeling good.
That's what it is. I see you're talking about my man Broadway Barrett.
Yeah, man. Broadway Barrett. He's playing well, man. He's playing well. Over the last 4 games, he's doing his thing, man. 20 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 3.2 assists, shooting like 44% from the field, 33% from 3. He's hooping.
Check his free throws.
90% from the free throw line. 90%. That's right. I forgot about that. 90% from the free throw line over the last 4 games, too. Yeah.
Come on, man. Yo, let me tell you something. Don't sleep on Barrett. Do not sleep on him. He's learning the game as the game goes. I've been watching him a lot this season. I don't know. It's only a hand size. But he look like he's looking at every position of the opposite team, and he's playing towards it. Like that little move he do, the behind the back. He turned that over twice. Okay. He's not going to stop doing that until he gets it down pat. The teams ain't going to stop that. That's going to be his patented move.
Well, I like him to get it perfected in practice before he does it the last 2 minutes of the game, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he can't be doing that. Well, that's a learning experience.
Yeah, that's a learning experience for him. Yeah, I looked at it. I was like, yo, what are you doing? I mean, but the thing is, sometimes things come out naturally. Your body just does it for you sometimes, and you don't even know that it's doing it. That's the whole thing of developing habits, right?
Exactly.
It happens without you thinking about it. You know what I mean? And so it's not like he thought about it. It just happened because, like you said, that's something that he does, and it just happens.
That's what it is. Exactly. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to, a lot of people get on Payton. I used to like Payton. I like Payton. Orlando, he was good. It seems like, what's the guy's name that we got, the Utah guard whisperer? He looked like he's trying to change up Payton's shot a little bit if you look at his arc. Like, what? Go back a couple of games. Watch Payton's arc.
His arc is getting better. It is. His arc is getting better because I know in the beginning of the season it was just a straight line to the rim. Whew. Just a straight line to the rim, and that thing was it was ugly. You know what I'm saying? It was ugly. It is getting better though. I will give it to him. And I think I've seen a lot of people asking the question about Payton. They were like, he's supposed to be a distributor.
Yeah.
But he's doing a lot more shooting. I really do think it's by design. I feel like the coaching staff is telling him to shoot more because they need to have a scoring threat from the point guard spot. So I feel like they're telling him to shoot the ball more than normally he would. He's taking a lot of attempts this year. I think he's somewhere around 13 attempts per game. You know what I mean?
That's a lot from last year.
Yeah. And that's why he's averaging about 14 a game because, his attempts are up. And, he's shooting, over the course of the season right now, I think he's averaging 13 a game, four rebounds, 4 assists, and he's shooting 45% from the field. He's shooting 31% from three. But there is definitely, he's shooting 12.3 attempts per game as opposed to last year. He shot 9.8. The season before that, the season before that in New Orleans, he shot 9.8. So his shot attempts are up about three attempts per game. But I do think that the coaching staff wants him and is asking him to go to the basket a little bit more. I do think that's by design. Evergreen, go ahead. We still got the caller here, but go ahead, man.
I just wanted to say, Elfrid, like, he got a little arc on his jumper now, but his form is still horrible. I don't know if you guys, are on the MSG app when they post all the pictures, but I looked at they had a picture of him after the Boston game that they posted of Payton shooting free throws, and his shooting hand was like the palm, his palm was all on the ball. It was all on the right-hand side of the ball, and you're wondering why this guy can't shoot. We got to fix this guy's form. Just the basic bring the ball up to the square C form is not there, right? I get it. I'm not a shooting coach, but the bare bones basics lets you know to keep the ball out of the palm of your hand. You know what I mean? Keep the ball out of your palm of your hand. He's not there right now. He's not there right now. I get it. The only way you're going to learn how to shoot is if you start shooting, but we got to fix that guy's form. I'm cool with him taking those shots if we start seeing a little bit more consistency in that form.
Yeah, well, look, like AK, just brought up, maybe the coaching staff is working with him on it. I think every player that's on the floor, it seems, except Mitch, if they get an open shot, is going to be, needs to take that open shot, and we don't know if the coaching staff is telling Mitch not to take it or not. But clearly, Elfrid Payton, is taking more attempts this season than in the past. You know what I mean? And I do think it's by design with the coaching staff, man. And as far as what people think about Elfrid Payton, this is Elfrid Payton's message to everybody. Everybody, who's has got something to say about him. This is what Elfrid Payton's got to say.
I don't pay attention to none of y'all. No disrespect. I'm just worried about, what's going on with this team and rooting for guys. Whoever night it may be, whether it's Quick night, whether it's Julius night, whether it's RJ's night, whether it's Austin night, whoever's rolling gives us the best chance to win. That's what we should have on the floor.
And that's what he said. That's, that basically he said, I don't pay attention to none of y'all. I think he was talking to the reporters because, they asked, what do you think about people, wanting Emmanuel quickly in the game and this and that. And he was just like, I don't pay attention to none of y'all. I'm going to come to Prince, then I'm going to come to Joe. Any takes on that real quick before we move on to anything else? Prince, any takes on that?
You gotta respect him, man. He a veteran. He understand that, this Knick fandom is some cats who throw darts, who throw machetes, who throw nukes. So you gotta have thick skin to wear that orange and blue. So I give him much respect for not caring, about what the fans say. Because again, if you do, you'll be a mental midget. So the fact that he don't care, that's a good thing. Because again, we seeing that he cares about his play. He's bounced back in a couple games where we try to write him off, but Elf is here. As long as he's here and he's contributing, I'm not gonna hate on him. I appreciate him for what he does. And I just can't wait until we get a serviceable point guard where we don't have to argue why is Elfrid Payton starting. So again, Elf, hey man, keep it up, brother. Keep doing your thing. Hopefully by trade deadline, we can find somewhere for you to go. But keep hooping, brother. Keep hooping.
I got news for y'all, man. Elfrid Payton might be here next year too. We get a starting point guard or not. Elfrid Payton might be here. I'm telling you. Look at mine.
Still no.
Oh, I'm just saying, man. Obviously nothing is guaranteed, and he could get moved at the deadline. He could get moved or anything like that. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying. I think Thibodeau.
I was gonna say.
I think that Thibodeau likes him and what he brings. And I'm not necessarily sure that if we get a starting point guard, that Elfrid Payton is not going to be on this team. Joe?
I think I'm with you, Sim, because we both. Sorry, Joe, I want to cut you off, bro, but I know, Sim, we both have talked about this, that we wouldn't mind a veteran, serviceable guard, but come on, man, not Elf again. But I hear you, Sim. I hear you.
I'm just preparing you mentally, and everybody else. I'm just preparing you mentally that there is I think there's a chance that Elfrid Payton could be here next year too. Maybe not as the starter. Right? But as a contributor to the team. Just saying. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh my God, you're screwing my head, telling me Payton gonna be here next year, man. Oh,
I didn't say he was gonna. I didn't say he was gonna be here next year. I just said I think there's a chance that he's still here next year.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because this year, when I seen it on Twitter that he re-signed, I thought it was a joke, and then I looked around and it was real. So look, it wouldn't surprise me if he's back. It all depends on free agency and the draft and where we're at the point guard position. But look, Elf's been playing decent. Elfrid Payton's doing what he's been doing his whole career. He's putting up okay numbers. He's being a reasonable point guard. As long as he's here, I got to root for him because he's a Knick. But if he can continue playing the way he's playing, he's going to build some trade value. So keep up the work so we can get you out of here, buddy.
Yeah, guys, funny, man. Let me come to Mark. Mark almost broke his screen with his sneaker. Go ahead, man.
I really had to you know what I'm saying? It's all good. Like I said, with this with this front office and how they do business, man. What bothers me is are they just gonna go for their guys? I understand, but depending on who their guys are, I don't want them to be picking up anybody. I want them to really try to improve the team and not just pick up anybody. But that's to be seen. But like I said, with Elfrid Payton, he has his nights, and then he has his nights where I said he shuts me up. But the nights where the nights where he just plays awful, we come on here, we destroy him, and in the next game, poof, he plays a good game. So, it's just an on and off thing with him when we come on here from night to night. Like I said, bro, how we evaluate this team is from a night to night basis. We just go from a night to night basis, killing whoever we we don't feel like
that's exactly what it is. Killing whoever doesn't do well. Here's the thing too. I believe that Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose and the entire coaching staff values stability and consistency. Right? I believe that they value that. And
that's important.
in bringing back Elfrid Payton, people may not like everything that he does and how he plays, but even if you have, let's say you get Kyle Lowry, right, or you get some other point guard that's your starting point guard, Elfrid Payton is going to have some kind of consistency with this team. One of the reasons that this team is better, believe it or not, is because there were so many returning players, right? The starting five has returned to this team, right? And then you got Nerlens, then you got Kevin Knox. Frank and DSJ aren't playing. Now Taj Gibson is back, so that's a returner. A guy who's returned to the team. I mean, you're talking about 9 guys on the team right now that returned from the previous season, right? That's that's consistency, and I think they value that consistency, right? And so, I would not be shocked if Elfrid Payton is back next year, even if it's in a backup role. What I mean? Because of that consistency.
Yeah. And again, there's consistency with this team and what they want to do from a scheme standpoint. There's going to be nights. You're going to have two good nights consistency on defense, and the other night trash on defense. But we see where we're going. Like, I see where this team wants to go, what they want to do. I know what the coach wants from his players. Mm-hmm. But it's now when you want to build a team now, they're figuring out what they got. So when you figure out what you got now with this roster, you're going to whoever's the best player out of this 5, now you're going to look at other players to see if they fit around these guys. So this year, again, is just because they reset it, free agents was just going off the thing. They was asking for money. Because I would have loved Gordon Hayward here for the 2 years that we was giving him. I didn't mind that. But for 4 years, hell no. But so when we went back into the pool, there was nobody else but Payton at the price that we got him at. So again, it was just one of those kicking your back, let's do this back, damn. All right, but as long as the contract ain't what we don't want it to be, I'm cool with what we doing right now. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy about what the Knicks are doing. So again, Elfrid's here to when they're ready to deploy him on.
Yeah, and basically this is what Elfrid has to say to everybody.
I don't pay attention to none of y'all. No disrespect.
I mean, basically that's it. One more time.
I don't pay attention to none of y'all. No disrespect.
No, good job. Listen, good job, Payton. Good job, Payton, because that show you got a little fortitude to you. But guess what? We still gonna be on every night. Just don't be a bum. And we will love you if you're not a bum. That's all.
I mean, you knew he had a little 42 to him when he pushed, when he ran over and pushed,
No, Sam,
Earth slammed Jay Crowder with a push. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he ain't no punk. But like I said, sometimes his game goes downhill. Sometimes he has good games.
Yeah, one of the things that I am noticing recently from him, though, and this is just everything. There's just so much that is a testament to this coaching staff. One of the things that I noticed with him is that he's getting that ball out quicker. He's not getting stuck behind 2 and 3 people so much. Getting double and triple team because he dribbled into a double and triple team. He's hitting the paint, noticing that this guy's there and getting it out quicker. You know what I mean? And if he can start to do that consistently, it's going to help this team so much.
That's all I scream from him and Randall. When you guys go into a double, or sometimes I see Randall that he waits for the double. When you see the double coming after you, move the ball. All I want these two to do is just move the ball. That's all I've been screaming about. That's my only problem. Move the ball.
The only thing I'll say, this, and both of them have to find the right timing, because you have to let the double commit before you get it back out, or you don't get the open shot on the other side of the floor. So the double has to commit a little bit, and then you get it out. So they got to work on that timing.
You know what it is too? some people just got the timing and some people just don't.
Right.
So it's just about how you read the game, because people could be on the floor as talented you are, but it don't click until something tragic happens, and then you do something.
And I can see Randall working on it a little bit, because a couple of times he kicked it a little bit too early before the double got to him.
Yeah.
He kicked it, you know what I'm saying? And then the ball swung, but it kind of worked, kind of didn't, because he kicked it a little bit too early. So it's a testament to the coaching staff that are really working on these little minute details with these players.
They stick in it, and I would say this. When they move the ball like that, man, the way the Knicks want to play and that we should play with this roster, that's how we're going to win games, because the defense from time to time can ramp up for us. Matter of fact, we just make it mucky. Our defense is just mucky. So for us, we have to muck up defense, but when we start swinging the ball at a pace, man, even with Randall and Payton on the floor, we could do something from time to time, because I'll be watching some of these games and I'll be like, yo, we could win this if we get a couple of stops. And we be getting stops, and the NBA is about stops. It's just all about execution on offense. And this team at times has problems with that, because some players' timing is just a little too off for me. That's what ruins offense.
I have a question for you guys. Tibbs come out and said, I think it was between 20 and 25 games that we're going to reassess the roster. Do you think if we're sitting at that 25 game, or even closer to the deadline at around 500, do you think they move to try and bring in some, like a little bit like an offensive scorer, like a Zach LaVine or somebody, to get this team, to push this team over the top into the playoffs?
I don't think, I wouldn't mind a Zach LaVine. I really wouldn't.
I love that Zach LaVine.
I talked about it earlier, Zach LaVine, and then in the summer bringing in the Kyle Lowry as a point guard option, a veteran point guard, to kind of be that lightweight Chris Paul that we were looking for. But if they didn't, I wouldn't be surprised either. Because I think that they're going to be very, very frugal with the way that they spend their money until they know that the right guy is available. The guy that they really think is going to put them over the top is available. Yeah. So I think they're going to be very frugal. And they may say, hey, even if they're in the playoff position, they may say, you know what? Let's rock with these guys and see if we can get into the playoffs with these guys. You know what I'm saying? And then and see how these guys respond down the stretch of the season. See how these guys respond in big games, that have playoff implications. I think they, that might be something they look at. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Go on, Mark.
What I think they're gonna do, they're gonna wait to see the trading deadline. They're gonna wait to see if a team's willing to give up a player and a pick with that $18 million there. I think they're waiting for like another valuable asset.
That's true.
They could be waiting for that also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the thing with me is, if they're making a push for the playoffs, do they want to get into the playoffs and get swept? My thing would be, if they see, okay, we can get to the playoffs, but if we add one more piece, we could get a playoff, at least win a game or be competitive in the playoffs. And when I think about that, Zach LaVine, is you can throw picks and maybe a young player because his contract, like, he's averaging 27 points a game and his contract's the same money as Julius Randle for 2 more years. That's a very attractive contract. And when you look at Zach's age, he's only 25. He still probably hasn't even hit his prime yet. People are saying like he's putting up bad numbers in a bad team, but Randle was last year. So if you put Randle and him together with RJ, with Mitch, with Quickly, this team could be noisy in the playoffs, because I think we have a good team defensively, and all the weight, I think, is on Randle's shoulders, because when RJ hasn't been super consistent. So I do think that if they're close to the playoffs, they probably will consider a move like that, because we do need a scorer to help this team, because you can't sit and rely on your defense every night, because the defense side of the ball is more tiring than it is offensively. And you can kind of see it with some of the guys, like drained out. So they do need to get some scoring in here. And I think a move like Zach LaVine would really affect this team and get us a 6 or 7 seed. maybe, or compete for it. And it's not a short-term option because you could go in, like Zach LaVine's 25 years old with 2 years left on his contract. Like that's another building block.
Joe, but you gotta be realistic with the Zach LaVine trade. What would it cost? Because the people that's running Boston right now is the guys from Denver, and they ain't gonna just give up Zach LaVine for just what we would love to give them. It's gonna cost, man. The kid is 25, putting up 25 points. He does have high value in this league, bro.
Yeah. No, I would consider like picks if it means that we're gonna get a guy that's gonna help us win. I wouldn't say just win now, might get to the playoffs this year and start winning next year. I wouldn't mind giving up the picks. The two Dallas picks I would give up.
Joe, as long as we're in the playoffs, that is a win for us, no matter.
Yeah.
That's a win.
That's it right there.
You having to force yourself to go get another player to go where? Zach LaVine ain't bringing us nowhere further yet if we went and got him. So in this case, we play it safe. We do what we did, how we did free agency. Just wait till next year. Go with these guys, see what we got, and then you continue the process next year. Yeah. I like what we did this year. I wouldn't
say Zach LaVine wouldn't bring us anywhere. I just think he's on a bad team with a lot of injury-prone big men. Now, if he comes here, he has Randall, who's automatic 20-10, and Zach is a 20-5 guy. Like, him with RJ and with Randall could do some damage, and you still have your like about $50 million in cap space. Having Randall and LaVine might attract a free agent next year or the year after to come to add to that team, and that they would help us put us over the top.
I mean, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I think that they would. Having Randall and LaVine, and if you still got RJ, because that would always, you still got RJ
space and picks,
and
then you still have some picks.
Well, you'd have some picks, I guess. You'd probably end up giving up those first round picks from Dallas. Then you'd have those second round picks in 2023. To be able to make a move.
They don't want to play. Zach LaVine is 25 years old, bro.
Yes, he's young. He's a kid.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying, but here's the thing. If you're really looking, if you're really serious about getting Zach LaVine from Chicago, Chicago's not gonna give that kid up easy. He's on a great contract. He's outplaying his contract as far as statistics are concerned. You're giving up some capital.
Damn, look what Bucks
giving up some capital for that kid.
Are you kidding me? Drew Holiday was not warranted what the Bucks gave up. No way, no how.
No, what they gave that up was that the Pelicans knew the Bucks were desperate to make a move to get someone with Giannis.
If the Knicks approach the Bulls, they know that we're desperate.
No, it's not desperation. It's like, it's like if we don't get them, we're not willing to give up the price. It is what it is. We move on. We keep going what we hit. But they could have a bid with them. And I would give up the two Dallas picks and like a 2024 Knicks pick if I had to, because this will put the team in that position to start competing now, because it will attract a free agent.
Joe, you have to be patient with a new regime and a new coach and what they did this year, because next year, look, all of a sudden James Harden wanted to be traded. What they did this year, fine, cool, let's stay pat. Next year, this whole season, something else could happen. And if we went for LaVine, we gave up capital. There could be someone better out there. So I think the Knicks is going to play it out, see what's out there next year, see whoever's going to start crying and want to leave, and then we will have the capital to do what we want.
Yeah, but the market thing is, if you're not willing to give up 3 picks for LaVine, you think Beal or any of these guys are going to lose? You're going to have to give up a lot more.
That's going to be even more. Yeah, we're going to have to.
No. I'd rather get it's like this. You think the Nets was not going to give up a hole to get James Harden? Why wouldn't you?
But they had KD though, Mark.
They had KD. They were a championship aspiration. Yeah.
And they had a different trajectory than us. Like the thing I was going to say real quick, Mark, is that, what I'm saying, because I've been a big proponent of this LaVine trade, and if we could possibly, if we could only give up Dallas's 2 picks and the future 2025 first round from the Knicks, and
we're gonna have to we might have to give up Knox in that trade. That's
So
the
check
only
this out.
thing
That's the part I'm not giving up. That's what we can't
Check
give up
this
on
out.
that.
well, you got to
Check this
give
out.
up. You got to give up to get something. Like you got to give up.
But that's the thing. Now you're giving up
Or
4
they're-
first rounders. You're giving up Knox. You're giving up the 2 Dallases, and you're giving up ours. I'm not giving up
No,
4
I
first
wouldn't.
rounders.
No.
for a
I would.
2-year rental.
I would
That's
give them
a
the 2.
2-year rental.
I would give them the 2 Dallas, Frank, and Knox.
So check this out. Check this out, Sam. When we're looking at the landscape of the NBA and how I've been looking at that Dallas team. That pick can be very valuable. So I want to sit back and see what that can be. Because right now, the teams on the West it's like a gauntlet right now. I want to see where that pick can land. So in that case, as of right now, I'm holding on to whatever I got because I can, and I'm in no rush to bring anybody in. LaVine's going to be there. He's going to be there with that contract. So I'm in no rush to do anything until I take a look at the playing field first, because that's what you do when you're busy. You look, and then you strike when nothing else is it. Me quickly going up there, it's not going to defeat the person because he's always going to be there. He's going to be there by the time the season is over.
But Mark, that Mavs pick,
we see what that Dallas pick look like. We see what we look like, bro. What the Knicks did, it was the most happiest thing that I've been all this year, bro. They just stood top. I think what we're doing right now is correct. It's correct.
But Mark, you're saying about that Dallas pick. So do you think that Dallas pick might not turn out to be a player as good as LaVine? It's not easy to get a 27-point scorer at the age of 25, only making $19 million.
Okay, so like I said, Joe, LaVine is going to be there, right?
Well, yeah, but that's the point. His trade value might go down next year.
Joe, hold on. Just like how James Harden just said, whoop, I don't want to play for Houston anymore. That could be another player next year. Let me be patient. Like the Knicks that we should be patient. I'm being patient with the team. So let's be patient. Wait to see the off season. Let's see who makes noise. I'd rather have my capital. So when that player that comes out that could be clearly better than LaVine, I can go get him. And it will be better for me to go get him because that player is more talented and he can possibly attract free agents more than LaVine can.
But you're going to have to give up a higher price. You're going to have to.
I don't care if the player's better. No. If the player's better, I'm willing to do that. Yeah. That's what you do for better players.
So what players are you thinking about? That's what I want to know.
My question was going to be who is this player, Mark?
Hold on, I've been looking at Karl Anthony Towns. He's still been on my radar. He's one of them that's been on my radar. Because I would give up the house for him. I don't care what nobody say. I will give up the house for him. Who else would I give out the house for?
You're gonna have to give up RJ or Mitch for him.
True.
Yep.
On at least 3 picks, 4 picks, definitely. You're gonna have to give up like Knox.
I would give up Ovi before I give up RJ in that deal.
Nah, I would. If I'm doing that deal, then you're probably number 1 to make the money work. You're gonna have to put Randall in it. Number 2. You're going to have to give them a young player. And number 3, you're going to have to give them picks. Because you see what Harden was 4 first round and 4 swaps. For him, you're going to have to give up. Yeah, but I'm saying, what I'm saying is you're going to have to give 3 picks and 2 swaps.
Yeah.
Probably for him.
The bigger thing, LaVine don't have to be Harden. We're not playing the James Harden and Kevin Durant basketball now. Like Sim said, me and Sim been flirting with this for the last couple of days. And like Sim said, the way Julius is playing and the way RJ playing, you want to bring in LaVine so he can close with them. Like, that's our problem. We don't have a closer. And LaVine would be the perfect closer to run with Julius Randle until we can get a competent big man or a competent point guard to play with them. But LaVine and LaVine and Julius' production would be more than enough basketball for us to be able to sustain wins. And that's the bigger picture, Mark. But like Sim said, real quick, it's only like 2 or 3 players that could get disgruntled that we would want. Devin Booker, De'Aaron Fox, and a big fella that you just said out there in Minnesota. It's only 3 young players that fit our trajectory that would even remotely, you know what I'm saying, satisfy what we really what we're doing right now. Because anybody else, you got to basically hit reset on everything we're doing. You have to breathe.
Right. And Booker's Booker's not leaving Phoenix right now.
No,
it's not gonna happen. I don't see that happening, Mark. So the one player we're talking about is Kawhi. Well, not even Kawhi, but I'm saying Kawhi Leonard, and then you talking about big fella Karl Anthony Towns. And still, I'm not policing our whole history on Karl Anthony Towns. I'm just
why can I not be patient just like the Knicks was? Because people would have been mad if they gave Gordon Hayward 4 years, but they only ended up giving him 2.
Zach LaVine and Gordon Hayward are 2 different players, Mark.
Hold on. We're not going anywhere significantly with this team, even if we brought LaVine on.
That's not true, Mark. I don't want to cut you off, but we already the 6th seed. Mark, we're 6th seed right now.
Prince, he's going to be there. I'm having that. He's going to be there, right? I'm looking at it right now. He's playing for the Bulls right now. The Knicks are patient right now. They are laying their options, which is a good thing, right? Because LaVine is out there, that don't mean you have to necessarily rush for him. Wait, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, if the Bulls are willing to trade him, then we get our 10. Then we look at it. But at this moment, he's with the Bulls, so I'm looking at that. They're not talking about trading him, and he's not talking about leaving the Bulls. Or he's talking about being paid by the Bulls. So in that case, he's with the Bulls. So I'm looking at it as a logic standpoint. He's with the Bulls. So as this season we're in right now, I'm looking to do nothing unless a team wants to give me a pick and a contract to take him with that salary. I'm cool with that. But in that case, I'm waiting to the off season to play out my options. Period.
And Mark, that's not what we're saying. But to sit here and act like we already are a 6th seed right now, a quarter away into the season. So again, you saying that Zach LaVine won't push us over another 5 to 7 wins is not true, Mark. That is like we could use him. So again, and like you said, we're not gonna win a championship with this roster and Zach LaVine. That's not what we're saying. But playoff basketball and a consistent run can happen now. And I'm not saying go trade the house for LaVine right now, but I'm saying it could work if LaVine talks to his agent and it gets, because again, there are already different little snippets and articles that's already being published about Zach LaVine to New York. It just hasn't blown up to start a fire yet, but there are publications already talking about.
But the smart thing to do with the Knicks right now is to stand pat when the season's over. Then we play our options, man. I'm tired. Listen, bro.
I just wanted to.
If the LaVine thing happened, I deal with it. But me personally, this is me being smart, and this team needs to be smart. I'm playing out my options with all this capital that I got and make moves, because that's what.
But Mark, that's only 18 million, and what we're looking at right now is a top 15 pick. Like Dallas, like bro, you a Dallas fan. Excuse me for yelling, but
hold on.
Dallas is not gonna be trash. They're not gonna be trash, Mark.
That's why I'm playing on my options to see because Dallas is losing games that they should be winning. So things can happen right now with this league. Things can happen. Things are happening. People were talking about Miami Heat. They don't look as good as they look in the bubble. Things are happening. So why can I not just sit here?
All right, cool. Let me get to Isaiah. Let me get to Isaiah. Isaiah, go ahead, man.
Hey, what's going on,
then
everybody?
We're gonna move on to something else.
Going on? I had to stop my car for this, man. I'm actually off today. For once.
Or you looking for a job?
Yo, why you gotta give a whole summary? Why you gotta give us a whole summary before you come on, Isaiah?
Because Mark, don't worry.
Get to the point, bro.
Y'all two having a back and forth. Be quiet. But nah. So basically, I do agree with Mark though. So I believe the Knicks should stay put and see where the cards lands, because look, right, for the Knicks to make a serious push, because the goal for all of us that we want is to be serious contenders. Don't show your hand too early, right? Don't trade for a player now. Don't do that. Don't waste your first round picks and your capital right now. Well, let me go, Prince, because here's the thing, right? And I'm not trying to copy the Nets, but look what the Nets did, right? they had the capital, and they got players without having to trade picks. And then boom, what did they get to do? They had the assets and they had the picks, and they got James Harden. Now they have three guys that are. You're talking about the three arguably greatest scorers in their positions. So for me, with the Knicks, right, let's show everybody that we're a competent franchise. Let's show them that we can make let's say we can get into this bubble or make the 8, so we don't even have to worry about it. We'll make 7th. And we can do like that. And we can show around the league that we are running right and that we have the pieces for free agents. Because aren't we tired of just like trying to trade? Let's get these guys that want to come in here and we can just get them for free. But
I mean, my question is, because I'm in support. If Zach LaVine became available, I'm in support of making that move. He's a young player that averages 27 points a game, regardless of if he's on people say he's on a bad team. 27 points a game, it's hard to do on any team. I don't care what anybody says. He shoots a high percentage from the field. He's shooting a high percentage from 3. He's I'd say average defender. I mean, I think he'd play well under Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau would be able to, hopefully get the most out of him, like he's getting the most out of Julius and hopefully starting to get with RJ. Hold up. Let me finish. Right? Every time we turn around, people are like, who's out there to get? Who are you waiting for? Who are we signing in free agency? Tell me who's coming up in free agency that you're signing. Realistically.
So here's the thing, though, right? To play devil. There's a difference between we could be honest. The last 6 years, we can wholeheartedly be on. This is a different type of Knicks team. The teams that we've seen in the past, where we're hoping we suck and someone's gonna come here. That's the difference between what's going on now versus what we've been seeing the last 6 years. That the Knicks are actually projected to be at least a decent team, and I believe what that brings is that around the league that our narrative changes. Because to me, a part of the reason why these free agents didn't come was because of the narrative.
What I'm asking you is this: regardless of them coming or not, who is available in the next couple years?
Of course, you got the Kawhi Leonard. You got, I forgot about Joel Embiid. Well, Prince, you're shaking your head, but anything's possible.
No, I'm asking you, though. I'm asking you to tell me who is available that the Knicks are going to sign. Kawhi Leonard? No, he doesn't even fit where the Knicks are right now. Wipe that out. Giannis? Wipe that out. Anthony Davis? Wipe that out. Brandon Ingram just signed a large contract with New Orleans. Right? Wipe that out. Devin Booker, he's going to be committed to Phoenix. They're building, they're growing, they're getting better. Wipe that out. So this is what I'm asking. Tell me who. Right? I mean, I understand people get disgruntled and things like that can happen, right? But although, yes, you might give up some draft capital, but you also still have players that are highly productive that can be used in a trade as well. If you went ahead and if you made a move like that, you know what I'm saying? You could be like, okay, I want, Brandon Ingram did come available. He got mad at New Orleans. We just traded for Zach LaVine. Well, guess what? We'll give you Zach LaVine and this pick and that pick and boom, boom, boom. Let's make this thing happen.
But the picks that you trade for Zach LaVine, some of those are going to kill you. So my thing is this, right? Okay, I hear what you're saying with that about, maybe using Zach LaVine in a future thing, but it's just, what are you giving up for Zach LaVine, right? Let's be realistic, because Knick fans are going to say we can give them two first Dallas picks and Knox and whatever, and Dennis Rodriguez. That's not realistic. That's not what Chicago wants. The Bulls don't want that.
Well, I mean, we don't know. That's not. We don't know what it would be. What I'm saying is, right? You gotta try to build the team, and if you can build the team without giving up all of your young players, and you still have draft picks in the future, because even if you gave up the Dallas picks, you still have your own draft picks, and you still got a bunch of draft picks in 2023, right? You got like 8 draft picks or something like that, and second-round draft picks in 2023, which may be just as good as giving away a first-round draft pick in 2023 because you have all the young guys coming out of high school. So you got a lot of draft capital to make multiple moves, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, you got to start to say, how do we take a step forward? How do we build the type of team where players do want to come here? You know what I'm saying? And you know, how do you start to get guys that are just starting to rise and reach their the pinnacle? You know what I'm saying? And you know, at some point you got to do it. We keep waiting. And if you can do something while keeping your young group together, you know, that's even more advantageous. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone always, you know, talks about, you know, not giving up on the young guys, this and that. But if you can make a move that keeps your young group together, most of your young group together, you got to give up something to get something that keeps most of your young group together, right? And then propels you forward. I think it's something that you look to do. You know, it probably wouldn't happen, but I would do it. I'm just saying that, you know, I would find a way, you know, a good contract and find a way to do it, or a good deal and find a way to do it.
So what I wanted to say to Isaiah point, and I know like he was saying it not to make it an argument, but again, he said, let's be like the Nets. But didn't the Nets make a trade for D'Angelo Russell? Would they end up flipping for something else? Like, I mean, come on, y'all. We like that's exactly what Sim just said. Like, we can't be afraid. And even Knox, I would hate if like Sim was like, B, I give up Knox. I don't want to give up RJ. Where me, I'm like, I feel like you, Bubba. I know Chicago's going to ask us for RJ. They probably might want Knox too, but like just like in every other trade that we heard about in the offseason, people want our assets, even though we don't look at them as assets, but they're going to want Knox. They're going to want Mitch. They're going to want RJ. And yeah, they're going to try to fleece us for all three if they can, but I'm pretty sure our organization is smarter than that. So again, you offer them the best package that you don't give up too much, like Sim just said, and you bring in a player who's young, fits the trajectory, who has a great contract, who you could pair him and Julius with new contracts at $25 million apiece and still have a plethora of money to pay the young kids and play a third star. So again, we can't be afraid to say, oh, I don't want to give up RJ and Dallas's 2 first picks, or I don't want to give up Mitch in the 2 first picks. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. But again, Bubba, you just said it, bro. Let's be like the Nets. This is a Nets move. We have a young nucleus that isn't great, but they're decent. Hold on, Bubba. That they're decent. And again, if you can trade a couple assets with one of our players to get a Zach LaVine who you know is going to grow with us for the next 5 to 7 years, bro, it's a no-brainer. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying like pay attention to the landscape, but look at the landscape. Like Sim just said it. You can't give us 2 free agents that fit the trajectory and fit this team model right now. There is no free agents. There just isn't.
So Prince, right? So Prince, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead, quick, Bubba, because I'm gonna get to this phone call.
So Prince, so here's the big difference between what the Nets did with D'Angelo Russell, right? They got D'Angelo Russell on pennies on the dollar. You got to remember that they got into almost the near perfect situation. They were drafting Lonzo Ball. They were drafting Lonzo Ball, and then his stock was so low because of the whole Nick Young situation that Magic Johnson was getting rid of him for whatever. They only traded a first-round pick in Mozgov.
And Timothy Mozgov. No, don't get me wrong. I hear you on that. So again, yeah, when you look at that and say, okay, they only gave up Timothy Mozgov in the first round, true. But again, same difference. What would we have to give up? But Dallas is 2 first, and you say Dennis Smith Jr. and Frank, or Frank and you know what I'm saying? Like we don't know truly if they want RJ or if they I'm pretty sure our office won't give up RJ or Knox right now. They're not gonna give up on those kids. So again,
I'd give up
anybody
Knox.
else?
I'm not giving up RJ. If they wanted RJ, I'm out the door. I'm like, nah, I'm hanging up the phone. I'd give up Knox for him. Let me get to this phone call. Calling you live. What's pop?
Hey, what's up, panel? This Angel from Brooklyn. What I got to say is, James wasn't available, you know what I'm saying, but he became available, you know what I'm saying, from Houston. So you just got to be ready for the moment. That's what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? So you don't have to have, you don't have to get anybody right now. I say stay put too and have those assets. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. Listen, I'm not arguing. If they wanted to stay put, I'm not arguing with that. But to me, if he came available, I think he would be a good option because he has a favorable contract. So if somebody did come available, he's still a super tradable option. He is still a super tradable asset because he only makes $19 million a year. Right?
And Sam, like you just said, who is that piece? Who is this? Who is this phantom guy who could come? Like just a caller. I forgot your name, but if you could throw us somebody that you see becoming disgruntled and wanting a trade that fits us, who would it be?
Right. But Prince, like you said, you never know who. Right? I mean, I see what you're saying.
Out there,
right? You never know.
You have to be ready for the moment. You want to be ready for the moment. What the Knicks are doing right now, they're building. They're doing the right thing. I think stay put. Have those assets, just like Bubba said. You know what I'm saying? And be ready for the moment. They're doing the right thing right now. They're looking good, man. I just say be ready for the moment. Have those chips ready. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And that. But what if that moment is Zach LaVine?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well,
he could be that moment because what I'm saying is, there's yes, you give up some draft capital. I mean, not draft capital. Yes, you give up some capital, but it's not like you're paying this guy $40 million. He's making 19, which makes him a very, very nice asset to a lot of people. So let's just say a Brandon Ingram became available, right? And you want Brandon Ingram. The Pelicans really might look your way because they're like, oh, you're willing to give us Zach LaVine, who's on a very favorable contract, who still can give us 27 points, who still might re-sign with us?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's ways to do it. But I get what you're saying, man. The Knicks are in a good position to be able to make a lot of decisions here, so no doubt.
I appreciate you taking my call, sir. Thank you.
No doubt. Appreciate you, man. Philip said LaVine is not that moment. You know what? Here's one thing that a lot of players get a lot of bad rap that it bothers me sometimes. You know what I'm saying? People look at players because they're on a team that doesn't have a good record and they think that, this player is just putting up empty stats. And I hate that whole thing about empty stats. It's dumb to me, right? Because Devin Booker for years was on a team that was sad, and he was putting up big numbers. Now they're a good team. Now all of a sudden everyone will be like, well, his stats are this and that. He's doing it on a good team, right? Look, one player is not going to get you. One player. It's not going to make you have a great team just because you have one player for the most part, unless you have a super duper star, right? When you have those super duper stars, one player will make your team, a playoff team. Most other teams got to put together 2, 3, 4 players, 5 players, a nice team of solid talent that's going to make you better. You know what I mean? Right? The Phoenix Suns are nice. Devin Booker for years was playing on a team that was sorry. Slowly they grew to get better. And then they added Chris Paul that's making them even better. That's how teams grow. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have a young player that, is putting up good numbers, but the team isn't that good. It doesn't mean that young player is not good. Zach LaVine is a good ball player, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not. You're paid $30 million for Bradley Beal. I like Bradley Beal. I'm a huge fan of Bradley Beal. You know what I'm saying? But with the contract that he has now, I'm not paying that when I could pay 19 for Zach LaVine.
Facts. In his dunks in Madison Square Garden, y'all talk about Obi going crazy. Like, I would love to see Zach LaVine on a fast break. Sim, them fast break points. Well, he had four fast break points off of dunks by himself. So what that tell you, Sim?
Yeah.
Sim, he got more fast break points than we done had in the last 3 games.
Remember, I brought up this LaVine topic prior to this conversation for what the Knicks could have did the offseason that just passed. But because what we did, I said, okay, they look like they got a plan, and I think they're just waiting things out. They scoping the land right now. They just scoping the land right now. If LaVine came up, are we the only team that other teams going to want to throw better packages? So we're going to have to compete, number one.
Right. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
We're going to compete. And when the James Harden trade came on, there was other teams that had better packages. They just gave what James wanted. Yep. That's what happened. So in that case, we can talk all this. Yeah, we can get LaVine on that contract is beautiful. I'm not mad at that. And if we can get him, we can get him. But we also have to look at which other teams are going to be in play to get him. Because let me tell you something. Knicks assets, other than with other teams have better assets than us at this moment, bro. A lot of teams have better young assets than us. So we have to look at the whole playing field, even when we going after anybody.
Well, of course, going after anybody. There's going to be competition. I'm not sitting here saying that, if the Knicks want him, he's definitely going to be available. He may not even be available. I'm just saying if he became available, he's a player that I would say, yeah, I think I want to go after this dude.
So like the Devin Booker LaVine comparison, the reason why I would, even with Devin Booker losing and all that stuff, I understand that too. But the thing with Devin Booker, he's more an attraction than LaVine. I don't think, even if we had LaVine here, I don't think if there was like a next player, say if Chris Paul, say if we had Devin Booker, Chris Paul wouldn't want to go play. If we had LaVine and Chris Paul was out there, and we wanted Chris Paul wouldn't want to play with LaVine. This is how these players are operating. They're trying to get with the biggest star that play. And when Chris Paul talk about Devin Booker, he really, really, really believes in this kid. So when it comes to value, Devin Booker is just a higher, more value player. His ceiling's a little more higher than LaVine when you watch them play.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, of course, LaVine had some injury issues, so so you have that. But when you look at last year, Phoenix was, they weren't really that great last year. They managed to get into the bubble. But when you look at the numbers he put up, when you compare their numbers, I mean, they basically put up the same numbers with the same type of team throughout the years.
Yeah, but I like Devin Booker playing style because I think offensively, LaVine is a pick and roll shooting guard, but Devin Booker does more on the offense. Like his skill set is way, way better than LaVine's.
All right.
That's different.
Well, we'll see. The only thing that we know is that this Knicks team, man, they're about winning. So, people who, and this is the reason why we can have these conversations about, would they do something to try to, if they're close to the playoffs, would they do something to try to get themselves over the top? Because these guys are about winning. Tom Thibodeau was asked last night, how do you feel about winning in these type of games where there's, no scoring and this and that? This is what he had to say about it.
Hey, Tom, with where the team is at right now, do you like playing these kind of games, like a low-scoring, tight affair that they've got to get through?
I love winning. So low-scoring, high-scoring, medium-scoring, it doesn't matter. I just want to win. So whatever we have to do to find a way to win and improve each and every day, I want us to be playing our best down the stretch. I think a big part of the NBA is the conditioning component. And one of the main reasons why you have to be in great shape is the intensity of a game is very unique. And then throughout the course of the season, there's different challenges where situations in which you may have to travel, you may have back-to-backs. you may be, down players with injury, and you have to be ready to handle each situation. So the important thing for us is to find ways to win. And just like everything else, winning's a habit, and you have to work at it.
Winning is a habit.
No, he's right.
And listen, he said down the stretch, my goal is down the stretch, we're winning basketball games. He has no intentions on not being a good basketball team. And I think that Thibodeau feels that they can be a good basketball team this year. This year.
Because, no. He's playing to the components, but he's also, from a defense end, because he know we are a limited offensive team, he's mucking up games. He's mucking up games, defense. So that's the only way we're going to win, unless we have one of those nights where we score crazy. But we're going to have to win our games mucking up the game. And he has real dark humor. Like, he has real dark humor, that man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tibbs believes that. I think that he believes this team can be a better than 500 team this year. That's what I believe. I'm not saying if he's right or wrong. I'm just saying what I think Tibbs believes. And it's one of the reasons why I think people ask, will the Knicks make a move if they're that close to the playoffs? And just knowing how Tibbs thinks about the game and, that he wants to, he wants to win. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I get it. I get it. But he wants to win. There's no telling. We'll see what happens. Let me get to another phone call here. Calling you live. What's popping?
Yeah, man. I want to just talk about the Knicks for a second, man.
All right.
If you have a second here, man. Listen, my opinion is this. The New York Knicks have been a farm system for the NBA for a long time. We had players we developed, and we got rid of them, and they've been successful for other teams. Now we have an opportunity. We have a foundation. We have a coaching staff, and we have young players that never had development in the past 4 years. Now we have a development team. We have a development coaching staff. Now we can see the potential in our players. Now we're being smart with cap space. We have $18 million cap space, and we're not blowing it. I think what we need to do is hold on a little bit, keep developing our players, see the development, and those who are not developing, they need to ship them out. But there are players that are available in free agency that might be a surprise for us to pick up. Recently, Kevin Porter Jr. is having problems in Cleveland. He's a slasher point guard that we can use. His salary cap's only $4 million a year, and he fits with a young core and just needs a hardcore coaching staff that'll help bring his game and teach him some discipline. I think as we learn to play the game together as a team, the young players learn how to become Knicks, learn how to become team players, learn how to become NBA players, then we'll see the development, and guess what? We'll start attracting the free agents that can make things happen for the Knicks and become more marketable. But as a team, we learn to play basketball and bring that mecca back to New York City, and at the same time develop these players that we do have. It'd be nice to bring in a free agent that can turn things around, but the main free agents are not going anywhere. We have dreams about LaVine, we have dreams about other players, but they have not officially made it known that they're available. But there are players that we can't pick up if we just hold on, keep developing, see how the season unwinds, then we see towards the end of the season who we need to get rid of, and guess what? We might surprise ourselves and get some free agents that may want to come over. I just want to make that point. Go Knicks.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Well, I tell you what, those free agents ain't coming this summer because there ain't no free agents available this summer. So you can wipe that. You can wipe that slate out of there. Ain't no free agents available this summer. So if you're looking to pick up a free agent this summer, it's not happening. It's not happening, bro.
We dodged Westbrook, and I'm glad. I don't want to trade for Bradley Beal. I just think he's overhyped to an extent, especially with that money he got. He could go wherever I don't need Bradley Beal. But we dodged bullets, bro. Russell Westbrook. Look at the Washington Wizards. We're better than them. We look better than them.
Yeah, I know. So check this out. I'm going to read off the free agents this summer. Free agents this summer. Tell me who y'all want.
No, Sim, I'll tell you.
No. Tell me who you want. I want to know who y'all want out there, okay? Just let me read it all. Just let me read it all. Just let me read it all. Chris Paul, he's got a player option. He's not going to be a free agent. He's picking up that $39 million option.
Yeah, he don't go nowhere.
Kawhi Leonard, he's got a player option. $34 million. He's picking it up. Blake Griffin, I don't want him anyway. He has a player option. He's picking it up.
Hell
Okay. Now let's go. Let's keep going. Mike Conley. He's gonna be a free agent. Okay. Now I would think about Mike Conley, but I'm not looking at him as a player that's going to, he's an older point guard that you need. Okay.
Yeah.
So I like he would be someone that I would take with a if I traded for a Zach LaVine, I would pick up a Mike Conley or the next guy, Kyle Lowry. I would pick up one of those guys.
Yeah.
All right. So go as your point guard.
Give me Kyle.
All right. Now let me keep going. DeMar DeRozan. You want him?
Nah, bro. Nah.
Okay.
I would think about it. Honestly,
Hold on. Let me keep going. Otto Porter Jr. He ain't doing nothing. Right? He's a piece. Andre Drummond.
No.
Not for the money, but I'll take him. Not for the money, but I would bring him in.
But he's looking for money right now, bro. He's looking for that money.
Right. He's going to be looking for some money. Drew Holiday.
I got $10 million for you. I got $10 million. That's it.
Drew, $10 million for Andre Drummond. He ain't coming here for $10 million.
He ain't coming. What you say? He ain't coming, Bree.
$10 million for Andre Drummond. Yeah, right.
They say he ain't coming, B. He not coming.
Fred VanVleet just got 20. You think Drummond's gonna take 10?
Hey, I'm just trying to tell you what we got out my pockets. I'm looking at my pockets,
Okay.
and that's all I got, Mark. That's all I got.
That's why girls don't mess with broke dudes, bro. You gotta pay.
All right, so let me keep going. Who else? Drew Holiday has a player option, $25 million. He's probably going to pick that up. LaMarcus Aldridge, you want him?
Nope.
All right, Victor Oladipo.
Possibility.
Goran Dragic is a free agent.
$7 million.
Right. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a free agent. Dennis Schroeder's a free agent.
I bring back Tim Hardaway because he's
not for a third stint, bro. Not for a third stint, bro. A third stint.
Listen, we just telling y'all we love you, but just take it easy when you come back.
So look, who else is out there? Dennis Schroeder, Evan Fournier, Danny Green, Iguodala, Kelly Oubre, James Johnson, Cody Zeller, Will Barton, J.J. Redick, Justice Winslow, Trevor Ariza, Kelly Olynyk, Tony Snell, Spencer Dinwiddie is hurt. Right? Dante Exum. Come on, who we getting? Paul Millsap.
Hell no.
Myers Leonard.
No.
Who else we getting? Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo. Kelly.
I have a love and hate relationship with him. He's hurt right now, and he gets these. We need someone that's going to be here for us full time. We need healthy players, man. I'm kind of skeptical bringing them on, and he's looking for the paper too. For the paper too.
I mean, I'm just saying, Bobby Portis might be out there.
Yo, come on, son.
Still, you ain't nothing, man. You ain't
Bobby
skipping
Portis
that,
might
man.
be out there. I'll tell you who else are free agents. Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, Elfrid Payton, all free agents.
Yo, man. Is Theo a free agent? Because I'll bring him back. That's my man. That's my man, $100,000.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, if we're waiting for free agency this summer.
They're not coming this summer, y'all.
You can forget about that.
Would you
That's
bring on DeRozan 2 years?
I don't like DeRozan. I would rather go get Victor Oladipo than
get
DeRozan.
Victor, but Victor looked like he want to go to Miami so bad.
Yeah, he might.
Cool. Let him go.
Right. I don't know if I'd mess around with DeRozan. I'm not a fan of DeRozan, man. I don't like DeRozan.
I'm not touching him. If it's years on him, but if I can get him for a 1-1, I would think about it. He's still 25 points.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't like DeRozan.
Bro, I don't like him like that either. But the dude is still quality. He's consistent.
C. Mac said, "Let's get Blake Griffin and trade Randall." Yeah, okay. I'm staying far away from Blake Griffin.
Man,
let's put it like, even if you don't like Randall, he's healthy. Let's put it like that.
He's healthy.
He's
I was
healthy.
just about to say, Griffin was healthy. I'd have swapped instantly. Because you're talking about a shooter, a passer, and someone that can still score. I'll take Blake Griffin any day, but he be injured too much for me. Sorry.
Yeah, but so let me.
You funny, Sam. You funny.
We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Looking at the slate of games for today, there's not that many games today in the NBA. 2 games today in the NBA.
They played 9 yesterday, son.
Huh?
They played 9 and they postponed a lot.
It's been a lot of postponements. Tonight is OKC in Denver. You got New Orleans and the Utah Jazz playing tonight. Last night, you finally had, well, not finally. I mean, they played the other day, but James Harden and Kevin Durant got to play again tomorrow night. James Harden, obviously James Harden can do his thing, but he what he dropped 30 and something last night?
He dropped 30 and 12. People forget that this dude can pass the ball. And he's playing with a guy that don't need the ball. Yo, that team offensively with Joe Harris, he is wide open every time. I watched that game last night, Sim, even though it was a good game. But the way Brooklyn gets open, it is nuts. If you can't score, you losing. You losing.
Yeah, I mean, looking last night, Cleveland and Washington, that game was postponed. Of course, we watched the Knicks in Orlando. Or Atlanta, they beat Minnesota 108-97. San Antonio scored 125 points. They beat Portland 125-104. Portland they got some injuries over there.
They hurt now. CJ's out. Nurkic is out.
Yep, they got some injuries over there. Memphis beat Phoenix 108-104. Brooklyn beat Milwaukee 125-123. Toronto beat Dallas. You got Miami beat Detroit 113-107. Chicago beat Houston 125-120. And then Golden State got a big win over the Los Angeles Lakers last night.
I'm saying this, and when we go against them, what Steve Kerr's doing now, he's deploying Kelly Oubre to guard you 90 feet. He did that to LeBron James last night and took him out the game. And Draymond Green, he made Anthony Davis look like a role player last night in the fourth quarter. We got to be careful. We got to be careful with that team.
Definitely. We definitely got to be careful with that team, man.
Because they disciplined last night. They in the fourth quarter, they didn't turn the ball over and they finished the game at 50%. You thought that game was a blowout. That team still has they know what they want to do. But when you got Draymond and Steph, those players are just too smart not to not be in the playoffs, bro. We gotta watch out for that team to Friday.
We definitely gotta watch out for those guys, man. Between Golden State and Portland, and my prediction for this week coming up for the Knicks, between Golden State and Portland, we get one of those wins, I think, and I think we beat Sacramento.
I'll take the Portland before I take the thing, because now I want to see if Mitch could go against Wiseman, because I was telling people that kid can run the floor. Right now, he's having the same problems Mitch had his first year, fouling. But when you watch his skill set, he's going to be a monster, bro. And Sim, I said I really would have thought about going for him in this draft, man. Him or LaMelo, man. I think those two are going to be super special, man. And the way they're developing right now is perfect.
The Knicks wanted them. They wanted both of them. I'm almost sure they wanted. They would have took Melo but we just feel so far out of the draft. You know what I'm saying? Out of the lottery.
I don't know, because they didn't seem to want to make those moves. I mean, they made some moves to try to move up to get Obi if they needed to at the fifth pick.
They wanted Obi though. They wanted Obi.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted Obi bad.
I think they wanted Obi when you notice, like they said. What if we look at it being realistic? What did Golden State probably want for number one? They probably wanted Mitch. They probably wanted RJ. They probably wanted 2-3 draft picks. They wanted the house. Same difference with, I'm pretty sure, Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Charlotte probably wanted the same thing for Melo. They was like, we want RJ, we want Mitch. We want 2-3 picks. We're not giving it up for nothing.
But Mitch, they wanted Wiseman. After they came out, because they didn't want.
I think so too. I think they really wanted Wiseman. That's who they wanted.
Minnesota to take him, because just Karl-Anthony Towns is just iffy. That situation is iffy. I'm just watching that. It's going to take time. But they was thinking that they was going to take Wiseman in a replacement for Karl-Anthony Towns if he acts out in some way, shape, or form. But they wanted him and people was telling me, yeah, he only played 3 games. But when you watch that kid, he is a gazelle. He is a gazelle, and he can shoot, Tim. I was telling people, he get that little 15-foot. He shows it throughout games. He runs the floor. He can dribble. And listen, when you got Draymond and Steph talking about a rookie like that, I seen that game last night. Draymond will go to him on every play. Listen, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. It's just that he's having the game is fast for him. Draymond said it. The game is fast for him. And he's sounding like Mitch. But when he gets it down pat, that's going to be a 20 and 10 guy automatic.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, man.
But
so
we got to stop Steph in that pick and roll and that off-ball movement and that backdoor sim because they still run that like oil.
So I'm just looking at Twitter, right? And I don't know why, but it seems as though Alex Len has been waived. You guys know who Alex Len is, right? Who you waving to pick him up?
Iggy Brazingis.
At this point, dispose DSJ, please. Just do us that favor.
Okay.
Well, Mark, and Mark, that's the thing, bro. I believe, like, we know how this twisted love affair is with our players, but I got a bad feeling they have a plan for DSJ. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is, bro, but I think they do. I don't believe you coddle a kid like that and you know what I'm saying? You tout him around like that if you really don't believe that you want to see him succeed.
A plan for this season? I don't know if they got a plan for him. I think he's like I said last time, you barely even see Dennis Smith Jr. They don't even show him in warm-ups. They don't show him on the bench. You can't see him on the bench. He's just
getting on the floor to him.
I see Theo Pinson up, jumping around, yelling out plays. He got 1 in the air. He got 5 in the air. You know what I'm saying? He's doing all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Dennis Smith Jr. is just clapping their hands as they walk by.
Yo, Sam, you remember when we was talking about the I think 2018 draft? No, was it the 19 draft that DeAndre Hunter kid for the Hawks? He's transforming right now, man.
Yeah, I know, man. But yeah, Alex Len, according to Shams, the Raptors have waived center Alex Len. Alex Len killed us when we played him.
He had 3 threes. I remember.
He was killing us.
I wonder why did they get rid of him? That's crazy.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh, they tank it. They tank it, man. They tank it for K, bro. They tank it for K.
Nah, they good. Prince, they ain't that good, and they overpaid for Siakam. That's what happened.
Yeah, they in a messed up position right now. They got a lot of money on the books that's not paying off for them right now. Between Van Vliet and Siakam, and I'm pretty sure how much they paid Siakam. What did they pay Siakam?
They gave him a midst of 150, probably 150 to 150. Yeah, bro.
I mean,
so he getting like 20 million.
Who?
Yeah, bro.
Who you talking about? Oh, Siakam got a decent little contract.
You got a max contract, bro.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, they hit.
I don't know if there's anything going on with Alex Len, but he would fit nicely next to Mitch and
he would.
Julius Randle, bro. He really would.
What about Kevin Porter Jr.?
Shit Norrell is out, man. Shit Norrell is out.
Wave on him. I really do. Because I want you to go back and watch him. Just watch his game. I know what came out in the reports about them moving his locker room. Shaq talked about it last night on TNT. And they kind of agree with Kevin Porter Jr. where the team didn't tell him, I'm moving your locker for the next player. That's what he got mad at. It wasn't him throwing, racist or anything like that. He was mad they didn't tell him to move his locker. They just moved it for him, moved his stuff. And Kenny Shaq said last night, you can't do that. So you gotta listen for those guys because they know the deal. I think that the organization just didn't want him no more. They just didn't want him.
I think so too.
I mean,
I'm with you, Mark.
I get that, right? Okay, you move, guys, they move my locker or did whatever, and I'm not happy about it. But I mean, it's the other things that's going on. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing with having a gun, the whole thing with the girls.
Those are the best,
Huh?
Those cases got dismissed, though.
I know, but just because something gets dismissed doesn't mean it don't
It's
happen.
still a black cloud.
You're right,
It's still a black
Don't mean
cloud.
it didn't
over the
happen, bro.
Right. It's still a black cloud. It's still a black cloud over the kid.
If you watch,
and more than like,
if you watch how he plays, I'm thinking about him and putting him on the tips. I don't think he would. Yo, bro, players like that, you put him like a guy on the tips, and I'm fine with it. And
I get it. I know. I get it. I get it. You know, the kid can play. And he could have a nice future. With his team.
He could take
I get it.
starting spot. I'll tell you that. He could take one of these dudes starting spot because that dude could shoot, dribble, and pass. And
right now.
Yeah. Hey, maybe they will. Maybe it's something they think about doing. You know what I'm saying? I always thought that the Knicks had a strong enough leadership team to take on some of these guys that had some trouble. In the summer, I was thinking about the dude from Memphis. Can't think.
You talking about
Josh Jackson. I was thinking about Josh Jackson.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? In the summer. But
Tim, I'll be real with you. I'll be real with you, Sim. I'm straight on court, Kevin Porter Jr. Sometimes, listen, right? I get that we like talent, and I get that kid can score, and I'm serious when he can score. But sometimes, Sim, you got to dodge the bullet with some of these guys. Just too much for me where this Knicks team is going, where I think we don't got knuckleheads on the team. As far as we know, we don't have knuckleheads on the team. I'd rather keep it like that. Because
let me tell you why we don't got that. Because we have a coach that put people in place. Woody's there. We got guys that can monitor that stuff. And
but Mark, though, it's just like the gun charge, the locker room. I get it, but it's like the gun charge, the locker room, the girls. Bro, he's going to New York.
Well, Bubba, the gun from what I heard
but he can't go out nowhere. He can't go out nowhere this year.
Quarantine. There's nothing he can do but stay with the team. So it actually works better in quarantine with a group like we have and coaches like we have who gonna have their eyes and their hands on him every minute of the day for the next couple months.
Prince,
why
if
would
he
it?
does bad, we can waive him. It costs us $0 to pick up a product like that. You pick it up, see if it works. If it doesn't, sayonara. But the kid has superior talent, man. You really do. And I like
We'll see what happens, man. Hey, I'm going to head out, guys. I appreciate you guys jumping on today. You know what I'm saying? This has been the shoot around, ladies and gentlemen. And make sure that you join us after the 12:30 the day after every game. You know what I mean? It's the shoot around. We spent a lot of time on the Knicks today, and we'll always spend time on the Knicks. But as we get going, we'll spend more time on other teams in the league and stuff. But the concept of the show is that we come in and we talk about. We talk about some other things we don't talk about in the post game, and we don't talk about in the game preview. We talk about how is Tom Thibodeau addressing the team, the day after the game, going into the next game, and then of course we talk about just other stuff going on with the team and players and around the NBA and stuff like that. So I appreciate you guys for joining us, man. Any last words? Any last words, Mark?
Shout out to chat. Shout out to everybody that support you, Sim. I love you guys, man. Appreciate for these times because, ain't not much to do but whatever you got, work or whatever. But, this is a good stress reliever, especially for me. I got one show a day. You know what I mean? I can't be busting up all my energy out. Well, one show takes away my energy, but, God bless you, Sim. You're the godfather of this. Hold it down.
Appreciate it, man. No doubt. Isaiah?
No, great show today. I was driving around, had to look for a job.
Broke people,
can you hire me, man? You got all the money, man. Can you hire me, man?
I don't know if you are. I don't know how your work ethic is.
You gotta check his references, Sim.
Yeah.
It's all family members. It's all family members to my references. We all got different last names. Oh, let me not say that so loud. But good show today, guys. Mark, you the GOAT. Prince, you the GOAT.
Nah, man,
I see the hair growth, Mark. I see it, man.
What's that?
My man went from the fro to the little locks. I see you, boy.
No, because I had to put on the bed because when I be approaching women, they be thinking I'm 16, man. Sometimes you gotta look a little more mature. You know what I mean? So I grew it. I'm growing it, doing my thing.
Hey, Prince, A couple last
shout
words,
out to
man.
Chat, man. MBK for life, man. Love the shoot around thing. Can't wait for the next game. Hey, peace and love, everybody. Keep doing your thing. Like I said, man, shout out to everybody in the chat. Keep supporting Sim. Let's keep growing this MBK fam, man.
No doubt, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys, man. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section. And be on the lookout for a short video to come out later today, that just announces, a little contest to win an Obi Toppin rookie card. You know what I mean? And all you got to do is sign up for the Wix app. That's all you got to do is sign up for the Wix app on the NBK app on Wix. And you get entered into a chance to win an Obi Toppin rookie card. That's all you got to do. You know what I mean? Easy enough. But you'll see a video on it so you can get a look at the app and stuff like that. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. Again, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. Make sure you share this out. The shoot around, ladies and gentlemen. Just watch as the show grows. I'm out of here. Spread love.